it's Mad, along with Goose. And at the end of Halloween, we are going to get the Dragon Festival, or Dragon Fest, which is actually a fairly interesting festival that is a little bit delayed for what Japan has, but had some pretty interesting rewards and some community challenges, which was the first to see. So stay tuned, and I will go over all of the Dragon Fest for you. Alright, so the first unit obviously is Dimension Dragon. I've already got a unit review, which is very interesting overall. It is a very useful dragon unit, but Dragon family isn't the greatest family in the game. Its leadership effect, though, is a must have if you want to use dragons to the ultimate, and that's the increased dragon breath power by 20%. Pretty much all the S units right now that we see for dragons has very powerful breath attacks. Dimension Dragon obviously is one of them, and that leadership effect is very, very important. But it is very niche because, for the most part, the game doesn't use dragons very much. I will state that if Japan ever gets a increase in level, this will become much more important because then the breath power will start really coming to the own, and dragons will become the next there. But so far we haven't seen it in Japan, and I honestly don't think it's coming, or if it is, it won't be coming for a long time. And by then, Dimensional Dragon might actually be in the normal SP. First skill is White Ice. Inflicts crackle breath damage to all enemies in the fan shape. Very good first skill. I do wish it was a third skill, but its third skill, Dimensional Wave, is a very large bang breath damage to one unit. I mean, very large. So with its Dragon Breath power and its First Awakening skill, which is increased power and effective breath, very good unit overall. Very good ability. Ice Prison is a physical crackle damage, which Dimension Dragon has an incredibly high physical attack. So it's actually a pretty good skill as well. Let's just go second, fourth is Citizen Frizz. Obviously third and fifth is Dimensional Wave. Normally I don't say this during the reviews, but Dimensional Dragon teleports as a move. So it ignores all barriers as long as he doesn't land on a barrier. So it has 3 movement, which can go pretty much wherever he wants. So it is a very well designed kit, but unfortunately, because dragons just aren't superly well designed in this game, I didn't really suggest to go very hard for Dimension Dragon. The A unit's Dragstar, just to be real quick, increased dragon physical damage by 10%. Not the greatest, but it's still more useful than the next banner set. Overall, it has pretty good stats for an A. Great agility. As an A level, it is not the highest, but it is very useful. The only reason it's not rated super high is it is required to first summon to go through the gacha instead of farming, and that does lower it just a little bit. But all in all, I do think it's actually a pretty good unit. So if you do like dragons, the Dimensional Dragon is a very good one to go on. The next one is the Forest Dragon. Leadership effect increases dragon defense by 30%. So basically it makes units even more tanky for dragons. Its first skill, Corrosion Breath, is really good. Greatly reduces breath resistance of all enemies with a high probability. Allows you to do more breath damage. Forest Guard, reduce all damage by 20%. And Dimensional Wave does swoosh breath damage 4 times to an enemy. Gotta go real quick here. First one, restores HP at the beginning of the turn. Then it's got Crackle and Whoosh resistance, and then the Forest Breath power +5. This unit is really good at being a defensive unit, but the big problem with the Forest Dragon is that it's so slow. It only has 2 movement. And yes, if you get to level 20, the blossoming effect, it does world of hurt to you. But for most players, it just is not worth going in on the Forest Dragon. Um, Really, what you're going to be using it for is to reduce breath resistance, which would be great if it had any agility, but it will be attacking last. So at that point, turn 2, you're going to maybe have the breath resistance and try to do damage, but there's just way too many variables for that to really make of use. It is a tank without a tank cover ability, has incredibly high HP and defense. So instead of Force Guard, it was or maybe even instead of Dimensional Wave, it had a longer guard skill within the Forest Guard. This would have been gone from one of the worst units to a unit that you go, wow, the Dragon family might really be good on PvE. But in this case, that's not the case. So the Forest Dragon is probably the worst unit that we have left after Human Form Orca Demir, which is just about to leave. This will be the next S unit in the Dragon Fest, which honestly is a very easy skip. The Sumble unit is Splutterfly. It is basically Dragstar and the magical version. And honestly, this is a very bad unit overall as well. So the Forest Dragon banner is just not that good. It can confuse Magic Heal and the Fool's Wind, which can lower skill of enemies. That's probably its best skill. It has magic, but its wisdom's okay. Its agility is really high with really high movement, but has poor HP and defense. Its leadership effect increases dragon magic damage. There's really only one unit that does magic damage. That's Butterfly. You're going to probably just add another spell if you have it. I'm going through these two units really, really quickly. They're just not good units. And we're going to carry on. Now, the free units for the event. These units are not nearly as good as the previous two units that we've gotten. But they're very serviceable. And honestly, they're pretty good for PvE for free-to-play players. Bobonga is the worst of the two, and all in all, I would highly suggest that you farm him second. His first attack, Sleeping Blade, does physical damage and then a chance for sleep, which is probably one of the nicest things to deal with. Sleep can be very useful for skipping turns. The second one is Care Elixir, which does small HP recovery with Confuse Cure. Which is very useful, and Latent Sphere is sizzle breath damage to one enemy at range of 3. The Care Elixir is a unique ability. As I say, this is still a very good unit, but you're going to mostly be using it for Sleeping Blade and a Care Elixir, not so much for the Latent Sphere. So I don't feel so bad about saying go focus on the other one first. Just make sure you get a couple of hearts on this one if you do run out of time. Its leadership effect is actually not bad. The increased breath power by 5%. Breath power allows you to put like Dragon Lord True Form's breath up 5% as well, which has use. It's not super awesome and it's very niche, but it has some use. So all in all, it is not that bad of a free unit, but the other one, Gasbagon, is, I feel, much better. The leadership effect, increased dragon breath power by 10%. If you do not pick up Dimensional Dragon, you can at least get Gasbagon as your leader to give you 10% more power. Yeah, it's half as much, but if you don't get Dimensional Dragon, this does kind of help take a little bit of the sting out. Deep Breath increases the breathing power and effect by 1.5x. It is great to use after wind and then use wind breath on the next turn. Remember, breath damage is all about your level, and multiplying by 1.5x actually does make Gasbagon do some decent damage overall. Thunderball does zap damage 3. It's a good skill, but that wind breath is pretty nice with the larger AoE. Yes, if they're not weak against swoosh and they're weak against zap, you will obviously use the zap. But it is a very good skill, especially after using deep breath. Its stats are not nearly as good as some of the others. It does have a nice attack as well, but bonus skill for this unit, I do highly suggest using another breath skill because of the ability to do deep breath, so that you can use it to increase that power by 1.5x and then go ahead and use it. All in all, this is actually a pretty solid unit. It is not going to blow you away like Kiefer did or Percival is doing right now. Um, as I say, they're both slightly better, but this is still a pretty good unit overall. And this is a unit that I'm actually fairly excited for and will kind of help me feel better not pulling super hard for Dimensional Dragon. But I still do hope I do get Dimensional Dragon. There will be other farmable units: Hackosaurus, Keeler Gila, Mandric, Murder, and Wordle. Alright, so for the Dragonfest weapons and armor, there is really 4 that you can get. There's the Dragon Fang Sword, which we've already gotten from the Dragon Road. I'm not going to cover that, but you can earn that. The other weapon is actually the Dragon Claw, which is actually really, really good for breath dragons with the Dragon Breath Power +4. Gives good attack and agility as well at 11 and 17. The alchemy and all of these alchemies are only for dragons. You get Dragon Breath Power, Dragon Based Breathing Power, Strength, and Agility for the Dragon Claw. The Dragon Mail on the left here, defense +16 gives Dragon Poison Resist +9%. And Alchemy can give you Dragon Poison Resist with Zap Physical and All Resist, HP, and Attack. And the Dragon Shield is defense +12, and Dragon Spell Resist +3%. Alchemy is Dragon Spell Resist, Bang, Spell, and Resist, HP, and Defense. These are all designed specifically for dragons. I still would say go for it. I'm hoping that dragons do get buffed, and if that's the case, you're going to go back into this armor and go get them. Also, for a lot of the free-to-play players, you guys are going to really enjoy this because Green Dragon, Gasbagon, those are actually very, very good units total. And they, both of them, really like these claws. The claw or the sword, depending on how you're planning on using them. You can also get 10 Dimensional Dragon tickets, 10 Forest Dragon tickets. Those Forest Dragons will not come until the second half. 30 Dragon Fragments, 100 for each, and 10 Bang Books, 180 for each. There are 4 chapters here. You would get chapters 1 and 2 in the beginning, then 3 and 4 a little later on. And so let's go on to the Dragon Tower. There will be 50 floors total. This is an older type thing, but the last 10 floors, and really maybe even the 20 floors, are still fairly tough. There was a quest of 100 people in JP beat the floor 50. Everyone received 3,000 gems. So there is a goal to get people to go ahead and beat it. Hopefully they leave it at 100, make it easier, as Global has more users than JP, but we shall see. You will open the Dragon Tower in Chapter 2, Episode 5, and there was about 1.5 months before, so as I say, I think it's going to be, for the most part, easier. It's going to be similar to the difficulty that we're currently seeing for the Cherry Blossom Festival. So, if not, actually maybe slightly easier. So maybe the 30 to 40-bit floors shouldn't be super, super hard, but that 40 to 50 will still be harder for the average player, and hopefully there's enough of us to be able to beat level 50 for everyone. Once again, there was these cooperation missions. I really do wish that they did more of this overall. I think this was a really good idea. The rewards were really nice. Basically, if there was 1 billion Dragon Festival medals exchanged, everyone got 1,000. There was 1 million Gasbagons defeated, you get 10 Dragon Fragments. Get 5 million friends, aka get 5 million different enemies there. You get 1 rainbow orb. 100,000 alchemy attempts on the Dragon Fang sword gives you 50,000 gold. And once again, that 100 people clearing level 50 on the Dragon Tower gave 3,000 gems. As I say, I really like this. I would like to see more of this happening throughout. But as I say, there hasn't been too much of that. It would be really, really nice if we kept on getting that overall. It builds more community, and also it gives us a chance for better rewards as well. So Climb the Dragon Nest is another section here. There are floor 4s total with 3 difficulties each, so there are 12 different quote-quote battles. Obviously 4 battles with 3 different difficulties. There's another rainbow orb available with the medals that you can earn here. There's the Sizz, Frizz, Crackle, and Bang Elemental. The Sizz and Frizz are all weak against Crackle. Crackle and Bang are all weak against Swoosh. And I'm going to go through each battle fairly quickly. And a relatively low-end team that did all the missions, at least in Japan, and there was some videos on it. And also nice, all levels you can earn Breath Feat scrolls. It's not the highest earnings here because not too many units care about the Breath Feats or Breath skills, but still, it's very, very nice that you can still get those for the units that you do get and pull. So for Frizz, you bring Crackle and Poison. The units are weak to Crackle, all of them, and the non-boss are weak to Poison. There are some units that will be called upon during battle, so just make sure that the hardest one is that no death in 5 turns. This team down below with Killing Machine, Zoma, Seraphy, Blizzard Hawk, and Scorpion Tail can do it, but they need at least skills of 6 for their attack. And really, Zoma and Killing Machine need their Crackle attack at level 10 for you to do it. There is a bit of RNG on this one, as Killing Machine can get paralyzed, and it is a little annoying. And obviously, as I say, this is one of the easiest ones that I found online, and there are better units that you can use. And back then, they did not have the level 7 upgrades. So all in all, I think this is actually pretty doable, and actually might be a little easier for us, unless if they bump up the stats compared to JP. Sizz is very similar, Crackle and Poison. Squidzilla was actually used, which was very, very interesting, along with Seraphy, Ryan, can't remember his name, and Poison Slime. Squidzilla was used because of the ability to withstand punishment and to do defense down. The defense down was kind of important for the boss to try to whittle him down with this team faster. Poison Slime was used to get the Red Dragon with Envenomate and basically just burn him down by himself with that, while the other 4 focused their attacks on the boss. Crackle just brings Swoosh. Non-bosses are not really that weak to poison, but you can still use it. This team that could do it with 5 turns with no death. This one is a little higher in the skill department because Bianca, Slideheart, Royal Reptile, and Emperor Slime are all S units. There aren't as many A or free units. And the Boykin Boyer is also a unit that's from a specific gacha. They're all in the general pool, but still, it does require you to have either pulled a lot or get lucky to have all these. This one's a little harder, but you can mix and match for what you need. And Bang is similar with the Swoosh and Poison. This one, you're going to focus, and Hell Gladiator was the one that did poison here. Flora was used along with Slineheart and Seraphy, and Rhinoceros was the tank. All in all, it's still very, very doable, but Those two are a little bit harder, but I feel that you can mix and match a little bit different. Don't have Flora, you can go ahead, or Bianca, I should say. You can go ahead and use White King if you need to. Just be a little bit more wary of damage, especially since you got Seraphy. Lionheart's a little harder. You do need his defense down. That was kind of the key. You can kind of go around with other units. They do hit, I wouldn't say super hard, but it's nice having a healer to keep it with no deaths. The big worry I have is they've been trying to rush through this. I'm hoping what they do is they give 3 weeks for this event, and if we get an overlap, that the only overlap will be a couple of days. But we might have only 2 weeks to do this one, and that's going to be a little tight again. I do know that they've only given us the 2 of these here overall between the Beast and the Dragon Fest. So there's 5 weeks in November. So there is a good chance that we'll at least get 3 weeks here. So what do you guys think? Please, are you guys excited? The A units are pretty decent, but the gachas are okay, just only because the Dragon family is about to grow a lot here, but it's not meta in the game. But if you love dragons, Dimensional Dragon is a must. So please like and subscribe. I will also, if you got any questions, you can ask down here or visit me on twitch.tv/mattguru. So good luck everyone and enjoy.